From £8.5 million in the red to 20 million quid in the bank and on the verge of 7th place in the championship in less than 2 years. This director of football stuff can work a treat. Greetings, my excellent friends, and welcome back to Club 2 Part 12 of the Director of Moneyball. I'm Kirk Sheridan, and today we can become the best of the rest. After almost 2 full seasons as the Director of Football at Birmingham City, we are on the verge of finishing in 7th place in the Championship. There's just one final match left, and we have been on quite the run of form to get into this position. Since the previous episode, where we unfortunately lost back-to-back against Everton and Middlesbrough, we then went 10 games undefeated. Only 3 victories, but we've just become rock solid. We lost away from home to Brighton to unfortunately end that unbeaten run, but we just picked up back-to-back victories against Blackpool and most impressively away from home against Fulham, who was sat in 7th place. It's because of that victory over Fulham we now have an opportunity to finish just one spot outside the playoffs. And may I point out that Brighton, who is the one club that has beaten us on this run recently, are champions. Needless to say, incredible things could happen in this final round of fixtures. We could finish as high as 7th or as low as 11th, depending on how results go. But to overtake Fulham, we need Cardiff to pick up at least a point at home against them while we beat Bristol City. And I've been doing a little bit of homework to see if I can guess who the incredible Thomas Lech is likely to pick in this final game of the season. And this is both the team and style of play I'm about 90% sure of. Blázquez, since he came in at the start of the previous episode, has thankfully recovered form. He's been ever present. He's even kept a few clean sheets along the way. He's likely to play as our sweeper keeper. There is a slim chance, though, that Sinisalo may start. He kept a clean sheet in the previous match because Blázquez was actually injured. So it is touch and go whether Blázquez is going to start this next game. But the back three is almost locked in. Welsh, Bekema and Nemeth as a ball-playing defender have been pretty much ever present over this run recently, with Fleming and Reynolds as our wing-backs. And despite rumours that Jack Hinshelwood might be nominated for Championship Player of the Season, Thomas Lech has been consistently picking Ethan Irajon as a ball-winning midfielder through this extended run of awesome form, and Gyubua has been locking down the defensive midfield spot. Now, Nemecha has been almost ever present since he signed in January as our advanced playmaker, which leaves Bennett and Salcedo likely to take the spots up front. However, they are both recovering from injury. Bennett is unlikely to be fit enough to play. Salcedo has about 60 minutes in him according to the physios, so he might well get on the pitch, but he could be playing up front alongside Van der Heyden. And it is possible, however unlikely, that Lech might change the formation up. He did switch to a 4-2-3-1 against Blackpool, which got us a victory, can't complain, but very much a break from the norm. Now, you're probably looking at this squad and thinking, as I am, interesting to see 2 of the highest performers in the team this season on the bench. Well, Harris in particular has been usurped in the first team by Nemecha since Nemecha joined in January, who's been playing well enough and is a little bit higher quality. But I love both of these players, and I've tried something incredibly cheeky. I have no idea whether it's going to work, but let me show you. Both Hinshelwood and Harris are out of contract with their parent clubs at the end of next season. So I've tried something that I've never attempted before. I've asked to sign them both on loan until the end of next season on 100% of their wages, with a monthly fee as well, and a mandatory future fee that is incredibly low compared to their current value. The thinking here is essentially I could pick up a player at the end of their contract, guaranteed for barely any money at all, when I know they're good enough to play in this team permanently. It's obviously incredibly unlikely that a club like Fulham will allow Luke Harris to go at the end of his contract for just a couple of £1 million. Unlikely doesn't necessarily mean impossible. So watch this space. But future transfers aside, it's now all over to Thomas Lech. This man has performed borderline miracles since coming in as our assistant manager. He kept us up last year and has got this team in such strong form. Their morale is absolutely incredible. So the time has come for me to take my seat in the stand. And it's all now down to this squad of players I've assembled over the last 2 years and what Thomas Lech can inspire them to achieve. Final match of the season, at home, no better place to be. But it looks like we're going to rely on a very different front line to the one that I predicted. Harris is in attacking midfield with Nemecha alongside Van der Heyden up front. So Bennett has made it onto the bench, but Salcedo, our top scorer, does not make it. We need to see that league table. How is it going to stand at the end of the day? Let's get cracking and find out. Well, the ball is with Welsh. In the 4th minute, he plays a ball over the top for Harris. He's through and he dinks it over the keeper, but it's cleared off the line by the Bristol City defender. What an incredible effort that would have been. And almost was, in fact. But Gibua, oh, fantastic interception. Oh, it comes to nothing, and we're even getting the goal line technology replay. It was that close. Not really close enough. I knew it wasn't in. Oh dear. Now Gibua is injured, but that means Hinshelwood comes on in his place. Hinshelwood again, who is one of the best performing players in the Championship this season, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Half an hour played. Well, the good news is Bristol City haven't even had a shot off target, let alone on target. But we have not really created a huge amount. Our XG is seriously lacking, so we're missing Salcedo and Bennett up front, almost certainly. Bristol City knocking the ball around at the back, and have got an opportunity here to play it forward. They're not really taking it, though. They really are just slowing the pace down, and we're not looking like stealing it off of them, unfortunately. But, as I say that, Reynolds picks up the ball and immediately loses it, and then tackles, and then loses it again. Fleming loses his man. Irajon can't keep up with him. The ball is in, and that was shocking defending once again. I don't know what it is when we're watching these matches. They're just consistently losing their man. Larin there got ahead of 3 defenders and somehow managed to be completely unmarked. That was their first shot on target. We're down to 45% possession, and Bristol City are suddenly looking pretty good. And as things stand, that will put us down to 9th place. Rotherham are drawing at Coventry and Reading are drawing at Watford. So if they don't pick up any other points, this is okay. We'll finish still 9th, which is I'd still be delighted with. But this is our final match of the season. At home, in front of our fans. Thomas, I know you're a motivator. Get this team out there to show the fans what they can do. And a Bristol City attempt is not what I wanted to see there. But Fleming, gets on the ball. It's cleared. Hinshelwood plays it back to Sam Bakema, our club captain. And the ball is stolen. And Bristol City are in again. And oh my word, it comes off the post. That was almost a calamitous defensive error there once again. It comes to nothing for us though. So Bristol City now have absolutely got this game by the scruff of the neck. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Bennett has now come on for Harris, and we've switched to a 4-2-3-1 with 20 minutes remaining. Plange is on as well, so we've made a good number of changes. Zagre's on. I'm not convinced we're getting back into this match now. But anything is possible. Sam hits it back to Irajon. Hinshelwood with a ball out to Plange, who plays it through to McGregor. He's in! Oh, that is a good save. A good effort, I must say. All we get is a corner. It's Zagre to hit it into the mixer, and it's straight back out again. So Plange back to Zagre, plays it into the box. Nemeth plays it back into McGregor. It's drilled in and comes to nothing. So we're putting an extended period of pressure together here now. And as soon as I say that, well, 87 minutes, 90. This is a very disappointing way to end our season in front of our home fans. But that said, we do finish in 9th place. Reading drew 1-1 against Watford. Rotherham only managed a 0-0 against Coventry. So I'm sure you will agree, my friends, against all the odds that have been stacked against us over the last 2 years, to finish in 9th place this season is nothing short of remarkable. I'm so disappointed for you, my friends, that the last 3 matches I've shown you live have resulted in a defeat, because we've been playing so well for an extended period this second half of the season. Even against Bristol City there, we still managed to get away 15 attempts. Yes, our possession was lacking, which is quite unusual for us recently, but the board were looking for us to avoid relegation this year. The supporters simply wanted us to try to avoid getting relegated. Won 18, drawn 15, lost 13. A goal difference of 12. We scored 72 goals this season, conceded 60 and finished with 69 points. 69, dudes! It's no wonder the board think my job's untouchable, because we are definitely already an established championship club. And that means next season, next season we're pushing for the playoffs. Well, the cheeky lowball offer for Hinshelwood hasn't come off yet. I'm not surprised it was rejected. It was a very ambitious strategy. However, Brighton weren't interested in sending him back to Birmingham on loan this season either. So if I hold on long enough, then maybe, just maybe. These budgets, however, compared to the last couple of years, are absolutely amazing. A transfer budget of 8 million quid straight out the gates and £250,000 a wage budget per week. That still puts us right down at the bottom of spenders in the division, but with these tactics we've been using as the director of Moneyball, applying those 9 rules, I've got to believe the playoffs are possible. Just a couple of days after the season has ended and the board are setting their expectations for next season. Previously, they were hoping we'd just keep avoiding relegation, become an established club. Now they want a top half finish. We've done it once, we can absolutely do it again. And they're paying Thomas Lech a huge compliment in terms of the way that they want us to play football now. Possession football, high-tempo pressing football. That is exactly what he is all about with his vertical tiki-taka approach. So not only am I over the moon with Lech's performance, clearly the board are too. This is fantastic to see. We are still officially working towards repairing the club's financial damage, but you will see we're getting youth facilities improved next season. I've also successfully convinced them to increase our youth level and increase our junior coaching budget as well. So those youngsters are going to keep improving that are coming into that development centre, which will only make it easier and easier for us to play this Moneyball way. Question is, how bought in are the players to this achievement? If I tell them we're challenging for the top half, are they going to be happy with this? Yes, they are. Fantastic. They start believing in themselves now. This is brilliant to see. Last couple of years, they've been terrified at the thought of pushing for anything other than avoiding relegation. This is absolutely a moment to pump my fist, be delighted with what I'm hearing. And just a day later, we're starting to tweak our squad already for next season. We have let Brian Ojeda move on. He had real quality, but he only started 5 matches for us, just couldn't break into the team ahead of the other defensive midfielders. So all told, I think a £450,000 fee for a player we brought in for nothing who only started 5 matches cannot be complained about. And we've also lined up an end-of-contract signing for Lewis Warrington of Everton to replace Ojeda. He is a natural defensive midfielder, so likely to get more game time. Hasn't broken into Everton's first team, but had a phenomenal season in their reserves this year, as well as 3 solid seasons in League One and the Championship. So this is a guy I think is going to come in and be a very, very reliable backup. And now Gregorio Tanko moving on as well. Another player we brought in for free at the end of last season. Started 9 matches. So 300k up front. Again, all profit. This is wonderful. And to conclude this glorious season of re-establishing Birmingham City as a force in the Championship, let's check out the season review. Signing of the season, fascinatingly enough, has somehow gone to Arthur Zagre, who started 11 matches, got a decent enough average rating, but when you look at what some of these other players achieved, Reynolds was pretty much ever present. He missed 1 match for us in the league. Sam Bakema played 40 games. Stephen Welsh, 41. Honestly, don't think I've ever seen anything so confusing. But it's fair to say pretty much every single one of these signings has been a success. We're managing to creep up our home attendance. 2/3 full now, 20,000 people coming to watch us regularly. Our biggest win was that 5-0 victory over Huddersfield, pretty much the day after I said I was considering letting Harris leave, and he then went to score a hat-trick. Goal of the season, a 90th minute winner against Millwall for Eddie Salcedo. Plange picked the ball up, lofted it over the top, and Salcedo with a quality finish. Sponsorship, corporate and hospitality, prize money, matchday commercial and retail, it's all up. Broadcast revenue a tiny bit down. Absolutely no surprise that our top scorer Eddie Salcedo is the top shirt seller as well. Our best 11 for the year starts with Garcia in goal. You and I both know better on that front. Barmer became and Welsh at the back, so Nemeth didn't do quite enough to get in despite a great performance since he joined in January. Reynolds and Fleming, of course, at wing-back. Gyubua alongside Hinshelwood in midfield, with Harris in the attacking midfield berth alongside, obviously, Salcedo and Bennett up front. Player of the season, young player of the season, both went to Salcedo, who was top scorer with 23. Fleming, 14 assists from wing-back. Incredible return. And Salcedo picked up our highest average rating as well. Once Birmingham got rolling midway through the season, it looked hard to stop them finishing impressively overall. Well, Mr. Parker from Sky Sports News, if you think this season was good, seriously, wait until the next one. Out of necessity, it's going to be another busy summer for us. We're all right in goal. I think Blázquez is going to come very good for us long term. But with Tanko moving on and Wisdom reaching the end of his contract, I'm not going to renew it. If 33 years old, he doesn't fulfil that Moneyball criteria. We definitely need at least one more option at centre-back. I do want to give Zach Willis an opportunity to develop, though, next season. We've lost Joshua Williams, our backup right-back, who played barely any football last season. So we need support at least for Reynolds. Left wing-back's okay, and I think we're good in defensive midfield. We have a good few promising youngsters who can provide a bit of depth in attacking midfield as well. So I think I'm going to let McGregor and Nemecha fight it out for that starting spot. But up front, now that Riddy and Bennett's moved to Manchester City, we're lacking a lot of depth. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to break one of the rules of Moneyball, because signing a striker this summer does look absolutely essential. Join me in the next episode to see how I get on with this transfer hunt. It's going to be another rollercoaster summer as director of football at Birmingham City. I hope you've enjoyed what you watched today. If you have, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, of course. Turn your notifications on to find out the second the next part drops. And as always, be excellent to each other. I'm Kirk Sheridan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.